Hey, you hear that sound? Yeah, it's that sound. It's that snooze alarm. And guess what? It's time to get up. This morning on Mornings in a Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where
When something negative comes up,
building muscle and improving blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, Jon.
if the lady's saying that, you're just
Being as a super
be entertained by funds over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That
There we go. Hey, listen, on today's show, we're diving headfirst into the $50 million Imposter Syndrome crisis. Yes, baby. I'm going to get personal and raw later on in the show about some struggles that I had during my career. And listen, we're going to reveal why Bezos, the guy who dropped Amazon, the guy who started Amazon, the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, why he thinks your obsession with outcomes is screwing you over. You do not want to miss this segment. Hey, listen, if you're looking to achieve big ass goals this morning, the segment that we talk about with Bezos coming up, you want to hear that one. And listen, we're going to uncover women's secret fantasies we're definitely not telling you about. And hey, we're going to explore the origins of conversations 135,000 years ago. And hey, why have humans still not mastered the art of graceful exits when it comes on down to conversations? We're getting into that here today with myself, Jon Andersen. Marty's out of the building here today. He's got some stuff coming up. So we have Joe Fontana, I believe, knocking on the door and hanging out with us this morning. AJ Zeglin's coming in as well at the 45-minute mark of the show to get into some mind fuel. But listen, if you are awake, if you're not awake, I don't know why you're not awake. If you're awake, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, because folks, this show is an R-rated experience. And if you got kids, you got parents who don't like to be offended by conversations that might offend them, I would invite you to walk them out of the room, or just give them a fair warning that there might be words or content that they might go, really, they're talking about that this morning? Yes. You know why? Because we have conversations here that men don't have elsewhere, or if they're having them in the confines of their gym, of their locker room, of a private experience. We are bringing them to all of you, a safe space for men. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We go live every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, Jon Andersen, the world's strongest man, one of the world's biggest bodybuilders, and he wrestled a few times along the way. So, Jimmy, we're going to bring him in just a quick second. And listen, if you guys are... I forgot what I was going to say, Jimmy. So, we got the Community Corner Creator Spotlight coming up later today as well. I'm going to celebrate a couple of humans in the community over in the Substack community and the LinkedIn community to keep driving the communal experience of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. So, Jim, producer Jimmy, who's behind the scenes with us here, let's bring in Johnny. I know Johnny's wandering around the California countryside right now. I'm absolutely curious where the hell you are right now, brother.
Oh, excuse me. We're somewhere outside of Reno. Okay. Not exactly. Yeah, we're a little bit. I'm not even sure if we're north or south. So, one thing I wasn't expecting when kind of just off bumping around these little towns, which is fun. We stopped and had some lunch in a place called Bishop.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was actually kind of artsy. It was kind of cool. We found this little cafe, and there was lots of local artists that had put their pictures up on the walls and shit like that. But one thing I wasn't thinking about was, there's not a huge selections in hotels when you're in these type of towns. I wasn't really thinking that part through.
So I got to be honest with you, man. When you told me Terry was planning the trip and you're doing the little behind the scenes back roads experience, I said to myself, I wonder where Johnny's staying, and I wonder where they're staying at. And I said Airbnbs or hotels, and you're like, Terry's got that figured out, and I'm sure it's all fine. But I love the back road Route 66 kind of experience where you get off the beaten path, right? Because that's where you find culture. That's where you find curious people. That's where you find interesting people, right? So I'm absolutely living vicariously where you are right now. Actually, a little community. Good morning, Holroyd. I see you there in the comments. A little community, yeah.
So but I guess the thing about it is, excuse me, is you just have to kind of realize that, this is what you were looking for.
Yes.
And you're looking for things that are not normal to your environment.
Yes.
And not normal to your environment. Like we had a great little lunch experience yesterday.
Yes.
And then, obviously we picked the best hotel that we could. But, of course, it's going to be different, just not really different in the way that, this one, the lunch was different in a good way. This one would be a little, okay, let's just get through this.
Oh man. Good morning. It's Cutesy. I see you there on the show. Hey, listen, if you're brand new to our channel, I invite you to come hang out with us and subscribe. My name is Keith Bilous. That's Jon Andersen over there. We're the two hosts of Mornington Live with Keith and Friends, a morning show for men to help you guys get your day going. And women are invited as well, of course. Johnny, pretty big day for me personally, man. Carter's got a big hockey game tonight. It's game 5 of his series, and one of two things are going to happen. If they lose, his minor hockey league career is done. And I say
it's a weird spot.
It is, pal, because thank you for recognizing that. You just gave me goosebumps because I've been driving to this arena that I'm going to tonight for 14 years. The same arena, same parking spot, same humans sitting in the same spot. And today, if they lose, he's done. But if he wins, they continue. But yeah, it's I gotta share with you, man. I have emotion about it, man. I do. And you're a parent and you've worked with parents that have kids. I have emotion. I have reflective emotion. I have historical emotion. I have emotion about what happens after today. And it's all speculative, of course, because if he wins, it ends the story. I'm sorry, if he wins, they keep going. But if he ends, it's all over. And I have emotion about that, Jon Andersen.
Well, it's it's one of those things where you just, especially in the moment, it's like, you're as a kid, you're doing. I remember when I was in high school.
Yeah.
My last wrestling match. It was a state tournament.
Yes.
And I didn't think I was going to lose. Fuck,
Well, you never
one of my fucking teammates had beat this kid, and I was, and I was pretty good at beating my teammates. So I was in my mind, okay, this is just another step to get into that quarterfinals match. And next thing you know is like, what do you mean it's over? Can I have another round, please? I was ahead in this match last round. Hold on, but push pause, please. Let's rewind.
Yeah.
What do you mean there's no practice tomorrow?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So
all the pieces start fucking connecting. You're like, this is like a fucking major turning point.
Well, and I've been thinking about it too. And Adam, I appreciate your comments, man. It could be the end of an era. You're right. It's an emotional moment, win or lose. And you're right, Johnny, because if it's over, then you start thinking about what does over look like, right? Now, admittedly, he might be coming to hang out with us in the lab and doing some fun stuff. So the selfish side of me, that's exciting because he's 18, going to the next stage of his life. But the dad side of me, the dad that took my son to the rink all the time as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 7-year-old, trying to help him chase his dreams, all that might be over, right? And it's the realization that we're getting older, right? Just like no different than you went to your daughter's wedding last week, right? Or you're unfortunately heading to an experience this weekend where somebody's passed. And it's just sometimes we have those recognitions in our own head that, oh wow, life is moving. You know what I mean?
100%. And it's kind of like for me in that situation I was describing, I already had my next step. Like I was, even though I was, totally in that moment of holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah.
I was so tired of cutting weight. I was so sick of that shit. I was so ready to start eating again and lifting really hard to start chasing my dreams. In high school,
Yes.
I knew what I wanted to do. So even with this huge, oh my God, I get to eat and I get to go to the gym, it's still, it was like I was really excited for my next step. I already had it planned.
Yeah.
Like I had to fucking, at that point, I had even had the fucking food that I was going to eat planned out. I just didn't have it with me, so I didn't think it was going to be over that day. but even when I had all this planning and I was excited about the next step, it was still like, what the fuck just happened?
I'm sorry, but I'm hung up on this. I'm hung up with you in that moment. I love this because we go into a situation we think we're going to win. We have it knocked. All right. You go into a business meeting, go into a sporting event. Oh yeah, I got this. You're confident. You're feeling good about yourself. Then the moment happens, whether it's in business or in sport, and you don't get the deal or you don't win. Like you were startled. You just said to me, like, yeah, my teammate beat him all the time. You're like, yeah, just another stepping stone on the journey. But yet it ends and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
humbling,
Yeah.
no? Humbling.
Well, dude. And then the worst part was there was a point in that second round.
Yeah.
Where, because it was kind of a crossroad, one of the moves that I would do would lead me to go one way or the next with the match. I would either try to finish it or I would just stay on the groove I was in and just keep scoring points to separate myself.
Yeah.
And for whatever fucking reason, I decided not to finish it. You know, I was kind of having, so, because it was like, so I was a leg rider, which is really uncommon, but it inflicted massive fucking discomfort on the other dude. Massive. Like that was part of it. I was just breaking his fucking will.
So you're saying a leg rider, meaning you rode somebody's leg? Is that how you?
Yeah. So I would basically intertwine my leg. I mean, it looked really fucking gay, gay as could be. but I mean, but I would intertwine my legs. I'd be behind them and I'd intertwine my legs. And if I arched my back, it would fucking bend them the wrong way. And it was completely fucking legal.
Really?
Yeah. And then I could take my hands, I didn't lock my hands. I could just fucking jam. It was called a crossface. Back in those days, you could throw it. Yeah. Nowadays, you just have to kind of ease it in there. I mean, we used to just fucking, fucking crush dudes' faces, right? And anyway, I was having fun with it, and I was like, I had him in this position where all I had to do was pull the leg out, slip the arm in, and it was chest to chest. I could have fucking pinned him right there. But I was like, you know what? For whatever reason, I decided to keep going. Motherfucker, it got away from me.
No kidding.
Not only did it end that day, there was a point where I had to rewind back and go, you made the choice to let it continue.
Yeah.
Like if someone says, hey, here's this huge business deal, you've been negotiating on this, you can have what you want, finally fucking take it.
Yeah.
You're a good negotiator.
Yeah.
And then you say, I want a little more. And they're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
God damn it. I had what I wanted and I fucking, God damn it. Oh,
that's a light bulb moment for me. Just the way that you explained that to me. Cause you said I had it, God damn it. I had it.
It was right there. It was just, it wasn't like a question mark. Like, I don't think I can do it. So I'm going to keep going. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? So in many cases, I would just continue to do what I was doing as I was having fun. I was inflicted from it. I used to make other kids fucking like, not sound like an asshole, but I would make other kids fucking cry with this stuff. Yeah, I bet. So let me throw a tennis ball to you. What did you learn from that moment? The moment when you thought you had it, but your analogy, I got the business deal, but I want fucking more. You did the move. You should have went in one direction. You didn't. Upon reflection, I know it was many years ago, but what did you learn from that? Man, I'll tell you, it's even as a, fucking 53-year-old, that stands in one of those moments where I can like look back to. Does it? When I kind of question, like, what is it? Like, I question my decision. Like, I want to understand why I did what I did. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, to a certain extent, there's a part of me that gets pissed. Like, dude, you should have just taken it. Yeah. Then there's the other part that says, you got to support that competitor in you that wants to just stay in the fight. So it's kind of it's a hard one, brother, because, it's like to take the deal too early can also be semi unsatisfying. Like, what are you doing? Because this goes right into the Bezos thing. Yes. Are you doing it for the outcome or are you doing it for the fucking journey? Yes. Yeah. Good segue. This has been a great loop here to kick the thing off here. I'm going to do the accountability check-in, and then I got a few. I was pretty excited to have this conversation. I got a few things about that Bezos dropped over the last few days that I want to talk about with you. So let's do this, Jimmy. Let's go to the accountability check-in. We're going to come back with some Bezos stuff on center stage. And Holroyd, listen, dude, let's connect outside of the show, Adam. I want to get some feedback on you on the show, man. You have been an awesome listener, an awesome participant, and a great member of the Mornings in the Lab community. And I got a question for you. What do you like? What don't you like? What's working? What's not working? Et cetera, et cetera. We are always learning, always trying to make this show better. And with you hanging out with us all the time and spending time with us, I got nothing but gratitude, and I want to learn. So we're all about learning, Adam. So come knock on my door, whether it's on IG or LinkedIn, whatever it is. But let's hang out.
All right, Jimmy, let's do the accountability check-in, brother. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk Bezos. All my morning loop topics, putting them aside for right now. It's some big stuff to talk about from the world of Jeff Bezos. But listen, guys, you ever get that nagging feeling that everyone wants something from you? You know it. You know how it feels. Their needs, their deadlines, their expectations. Hey, Keith, I need this from you right now. Really? What, because you couldn't tell the time because your deadline was due last week, but you need it from me now? Come on, really? Like, you're constantly on call. You're just trying to keep everyone happy. You're like, yeah, I want to, yeah. Listen, but the more you give, the less you have for yourself. Think about it. Every minute you give to somebody else, you don't have that minute for yourself. It's that philosophy John and I talk all the time about saying more no before you can say yes to something else. But then eventually you lose track of what you wanted. And being selfish gets a bad rap. But it's not about shutting the world out, guys. It's about choosing where your energy goes so you can lead, grow, and win on your terms. Taking your energy I'm talking about, guys, back, taking it back is not easy because saying no, it feels uncomfortable. And setting boundaries, it feels risky. But if you keep giving everything away, John and I were just talking about it, you're going to stay stuck. Not going to have any purpose. You're going to run on empty. So here's a way to start changing things right now, right this morning, immediately. Boom, boom, get out of bed, leave the snooze button aside and get after it. List 3 things draining your energy. Pick one you can actually change and then decide what to do. Delegate, say no, or set boundaries. And then, guys, here's the kicker. Don't wait for someday. Nope. Take action right now, within 24 hours. And I'm telling you, this approach won't fix everything overnight. I'm inviting you to think about it. But it's a start. And every time you decide to prioritize yourself, you take your energy back. That's it. You take your energy back. Because why? You're not giving it to somebody else. There you go. It's your accountability check-in this morning. I see you, Cunningham. Yes, your partner likes to say airplane rules. I have to take care of yourself before you help others. That is so true, Jeremy. You have to. And it's funny, Jeremy, because I find it so hard for many of us humans to wrap our head around. Right? We're always thinking about somebody else. We're always meeting somebody's needs. But the reality is we got to take care of ourselves before we take care of somebody else. All right, Jimmy, let's bring in the boys. Bring in Johnny back here when he gets back in a second here. And we're going to bring in Joe Fontana. I see Joe there in the green room coming up here in a moment. I see him on the horizontal. Jimmy, do we have Joe on the vertical as well? I'm not too sure here. So we're going to get into some Jeff Bezos stuff here in center stage. So listen, guys, here is something for you to think about. Why the universe wants you to be typical and how to resist. Think about this. Have you ever felt the pressure to blend in to be normal? Not Keith and Johnny. Nope. Today, we're going to explore why being distinct isn't just beneficial, it's essential. Now, what's up, Fontana?
What's going on?
How are you, pal? Good to see you.
How are you, brother?
Jay, how you doing, John? I figured you guys were talking changing self-help, so that's why I'm here today. Coming on the show, set up and straightened out. Where's Terry?
Marty's got some obligations this morning, so he sent me a text this morning and said, Bilous, I got some obligations this morning. I said, no problem, man. Me and Johnny are hanging out. So I said, hey, maybe Fontana will hang out with us here this morning. So we are getting to some Jeff Bezos conversations right now. Obviously, the guy's done a few things in his world. Why? And I want to get into this one, which is why the universe wants you to be typical and how you can resist. And this is inspired by insights from Richard Dawkins, boys, and lessons from Bezos, from Amazon. And we're going to dive deep into why the universe pushes us towards mediocrity and why you should resist. Now, Johnny, Joe, grasping the power of your uniqueness can elevate your life, your career, and your relationships. John, I have to look no further than you, man. It's understanding your distinctiveness, that it's not just about being nice, it's about necessary for survival and thriving. You recognize what you were good at. You recognize that you needed to be different than others, and you went and leaned into it. Well, here's what I find is fascinating. Richard Dawkins, who's written a book, I'm not sure where I went there. Right here we go. In his extraordinary book, The Blind Watchmaker, emphasized a powerful biological principle. And Jeff Bezos mirrors this principle recently, which is that without being different, you're like everybody else. The point is this, that differentiation is survival. To remain special, you have to actively preserve what makes you unique. And what the argument is, Johnny, is that society is going to push us in a world of ordinary and mediocrity time and time again. And the difficulty for us humans and us businesses is to remain special, to be unique. And Bezos, as he left his last chairman's meeting with Amazon, implored and encouraged and empowered the Amazon team to focus on being special as society tries to make you normal and typical like everybody else.
He's talking about the rules, dude. This is the rules.
I read this, Johnny, and I thought about you, man. I thought about you because he was adamant that society, and Joe, even you, man, like society is going to keep pushing you in the order of you got to go this way, you got to go this way, you got to go this way. And Amazon's a great example. Big, massive company, and you got to go this way. It's like, no, we got to go this way. This idea of maintaining distinctiveness, Johnny, instead of flying in the same direction as everybody else.
Well, I think the first thing that came to mind, and it could just be a vocabulary scenario, but I think the term was used: preserve your uniqueness.
Yes.
What I would tend to come from, rather than continue to try to preserve it, continue to try to pursue it, because your uniqueness, you become more and more and more and more and more unique. You understand your uniqueness and you go deeper into it.
Yes. Joe, you've been around for a while with us on the show. We've got to know you a little bit. You have unique skills and unique superpowers. You've been in the military. You've accomplished much in your life. When did you realize that your uniqueness was actually Joe Fontana's superpower? When did you have that moment, Joey? Oh, got you muted, pal.
Not on the vertical, you're not. On the horizontal, you must be.
On mute.
There you go.
Yeah, you got to flip back and forth to make sure everything's clear.
You got man echo today, so I'm extra paying double attention to make sure that it's not my ears being drunk. But I figured it out really early. I had unique skills I brought to the table. It was weird. I was raised around gangsters, so I was forced to think like an older man while I was still in grade school. Like I could pick a poker hand out of somebody by the time I was 11. And if you wanted to play gin with me, and back in the day, the old Italians, the Zips would play gin for money.
Yeah.
I could tell you the cards in your hands within 3 rounds. Yeah. And when I'd see all the kids at school doing the same fucking thing, all wearing the same shirt, all wanting to, these kids would all fight in line to wear the same Air Force Ones, and I was going to school in custom-made suits in my sophomore year of high school. I never wanted to conform, and that was my superpower. I knew I was smarter than the average guy. I knew I was more cunning than the average guy. I knew I had access to resources that the average guy didn't. And even though a lot of that has changed in the last 30, 40 years, the mentality hasn't.
Yeah. What I find striking about this, John, and you and I talk about it every single day, and again, why I pulled this conversation up is that every day, all of us humans are all of us humans are encouraged and we're dragged in the direction of mediocrity. It's like, I just do this. This is good enough. This is fine. This is good enough. And then people come to you, John, and going, well, I'm fat. Oh, I'm overweight. Oh, I'm not eating properly, right? And we fall into these slippery slopes of mediocrity. That's why I've been such a big proponent, and I know you have too as well, John, with this show being the daily practice to avoid slipping into mediocrity. Starting your morning, getting your day set up, Johnny.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, I think if someone actually recognizes that they're slipping into mediocrity, that means they've actually had a go at getting out. I think the majority of our population is they're programmed into it.
Yes.
And it's like, it's our role models. It's all the people that have our ears.
Yes.
And they're doing the best they can, but they're programming in, oh man, I can't wait for Saturday.
Yes.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait for for lunchtime. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that. And we get fucking programmed with all of this shit that, it's mediocre at best. And so I think I think the biggest thing is if you've actually recognized that you've escaped, you're ahead of most.
Yes.
And keep in mind, real fucking easy to get a step out and get sucked back in because it's comfortable in there. That's why so many people are there.
Well, and all we have to do is look at the devices in our hands we carry every single day. There's so many opportunities for us humans to get sucked back into mediocrity and to being typical, right? By the device you have in your hands, by an app you get sucked into, by seeing content that gets your anxiety or your emotions all out of whack, right? So it's easy to go in the direction of mediocrity. Again, which is why we created this show. I'd like to think, which gives you a place, guys, to get your day started so you can run away from mediocrity. But listen, the world is always going to try to make you typical, always, right? Pulling you into every equilibrium, and it's continuous effort that keeps you extraordinary. So I'm going to invite you guys today is to stay unique, stay courageous, and keep shining that distinct light. Because as Bezos said, that you are absolutely going to continue to be pulled. But the difference the difference between a successful and probably mediocre successful human is somebody who is going absolutely against the grains. So, but guys, I want to get
on that level. I was just going to say one of the things that might be really helpful for most is to recognize that you're in the ordinary, the average, or whatever you call it, the comfortable, and see where you want to go. That's great. But the people that are out, that have escaped, that stay out, that continue to grow, it's because there's something that they're chasing. There's a purpose. There's a big why.
Yes.
And so you can't just say, oh man, I want to get out of this ordinary life. Well, why?
Yes.
When you got a big why, it makes it fucking real easy to get out and stay out. But if you don't have a why, you're going to spend your life fucking in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, it's so true. All right, listen, let's get to the next.
Find that why.
It is finding that why, 100%. All right, so listen, stop chasing outcomes. Why Jeff Bezos swears by controllable inputs. Johnny, Joe, we spend so much time worrying about so many other people. We spend so much time worrying about what somebody else is doing. But Jimmy, here is the hook. Have you ever wondered why some companies consistently achieve goals while others struggle? Well, listen, Bezos and Amazon talk about the unprecedented idea, the powerful philosophy of focusing relentlessly. John, again, I'm looking at you, brother. You talk about it all the time. Controllable inputs instead of the outputs. Don't worry about what the output is going to be because you can't control it. All you can control is what you do every single day. So his invitation, Johnny, was if you have a big ass goal, Joe, like a big goal, don't focus on the things that you can't control to get there. Wean that process right down to very minuscule, detailed approach. Find the input that can directly relate to the output and focus on that. And in Bezos' experience is we too often as humans get focused on the noise and don't think about the little details that you can control, which is the input to get the output correct. Makes sense, Jon Andersen, Joe Fontana?
It does.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think when it comes down to it, even in today's society, there's not enough. We don't teach our kids to goal set enough. Like people are just fucking wandering. Yes. And then when they're taught to focus to set a goal, they're not taught to fucking overly stare, or they're taught to, okay, here's the goal. Well, nobody told me not to fucking look at the goal. Okay, once you're taught to have a goal, then you got to be taught to how do you get to the goal. And none of this shit is being taught to our youth. No, and they're not being taught the details of it. I don't believe it. Yeah, it's totally. And that what we're talking about. Here's your goal. Okay, that's where we want to go. Stop fucking looking over there. Yeah. Start looking right fucking here and get the shit out of the way that you can't change, that you have no control over. And let's focus on the controllables. And if we do that every day, we'll be real next to that fucking goal real fast. But when you're looking at the goal all the time, what you're not doing is handling your business right here today. What I find fascinating about this discussion is that it's so simple, yet, and so filled with cliche, but yet when we get sucked into the mediocrity of life and we get sucked into the emotion of others, here's the theme here. You start forgetting about your input
and you begin worrying about everybody else's output, Joe Fontana, right? Because
you want to know something?
Yeah.
You're 5,000% right. And I'm probably going to get punched in the face by my wife for this.
Yeah.
So in the last 24 hours, I do a podcast.
Yeah.
Nothing like this.
Yeah.
My co-host breaks up with me over text.
Oh.
Like, this is a person like anybody else I meet on LinkedIn. Like, I met you, Keith. You see, I take those first conversations seriously. If you got a fucking problem, I'm going to help you own it.
Yeah.
Because as it applies to goals, you know why goals die on the vine? Because you have to fucking work to do it. An opportunity is always disguised in overalls. I mean, look at John's left fucking arm right there. He's got a vein larger than my entire arm.
Yeah.
Because he had a goal and he realized it was going to take sacrifice and unrelentless effort to make it happen. And that's why a lot of goals end up dying, and you absorb and look for the fucking noise, because the noise is the excuse.
Yes.
The noise is the panacea. So I sat there bent that I got broken up by text, that this person's not answering me. They did all the logistical stuff. So I panicked for a minute. How do I edit? I couldn't even fucking log into StreamYard or Riverdale, whatever the fuck they're called. And my wife's like, what about this amazing opportunity you now have? Now you don't have.
I was waiting for that, Joe. I was like, God damn it.
Me too.
Now you don't have somebody that you're trying to groom into a co-host. Now you can go out and find the one you want. Now you can own it. Now it could be about your brand instead of sharing a brand. Now your co-host is part of your vision, not something that you're trying to turn into two. That's why I came on today, to be honest with you, because I'm sitting there listening to her. She's 100% right. But I kept saying, but I'm allowed to be mad. I'm allowed to be mad. I'm allowed to be mad. She's like, yeah. And look how far that's fucking gotten you. You got nothing done. You've been bitching and moaning for the last 30 minutes that you've got nothing done. And you've lost eye of the prize. You wanted a podcast so that you can engage with your prospects, so that you can show them that you actually know what the fuck you're talking about, unlike everybody else on LinkedIn, with the exception of the two people on this podcast with me. And here I am. Different.
Right here, I would
say the noise is removed, when the noise is removed, people, you end up with this sense of tranquil silence. Yeah. And then is where you do the Bezos of, what are the things that I can do that I can completely control that get me to here? And sometimes there's nothing you can do to get you to there, and you need to realize, okay, not meeting a goal is not a failure if you realize that there's ways to pivot, and that your goals have a life of their own. Sometimes they'll change over time.
Yes, Johnny.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Joe, that a couple things that listening to you talk, I totally get it. I would just turn that 30 minutes into 90 seconds. There's nothing wrong with being frustrated.
Yeah.
It's funny, I did that.
Don't waste another fucking 28 and a half minutes of your life fucking doing that dumb shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Spend 90 seconds. You can bitch just as much in 90 seconds as you can in fucking 30. Just got to go a little faster.
Yeah.
And then the second thing, brother, this is just something that I think of myself in situations. And honestly, to be totally fucking honest, I even had this thought with Keith, right? Because we, just like you meet someone, you really don't know someone until you understand their habitual patterns over a period of time. So I just, whenever I'm entering into a situation, I think to myself, I want this guy to show his shit. Fuck up quick or do well quick, either way. But I just need you to just pull your fucking pants down. What do you got? You got something I'm going to keep moving forward with, or you got a bunch of excuses under there? So when this person did this to you, you just think, fucking God, I found out now. This fucking jerk off could have done this to me in 2 years, or that would have been really fucking. That would have been a bummer.
That's a good learning.
Because it, like, perfect example had, because I knew this 5:30 thing in the morning. I mean, I've been doing shit like this my whole fucking life, but I've seen so many people try and fucking fail. I don't give a fuck what you're trying to do at 4 or 5 in the morning. Some people just don't have it. And I was like, well, because in my mind, I called Keith a nutty little son of a bitch the first day we met. And I say it with love now, of course. Yeah. I thought, well, 4 or 5 in the morning, this little nutty son of a bitch is going to show me his true colors in about 45 days. Because 45 days is a pretty good fucking time frame for most people to think they can do something at 4 a.m. and realize maybe this isn't for me. So on that level, bro, just realize, thank fucking God this person shit the bed right when they did.
Yeah, that's great advice.
It's absolutely good advice because it's going to happen, right? So whether it happens now or later, it's glad that it happened now. All right, well, listen, let's do this here. Let's, Johnny, you're going to go for a quick little break, a bathroom break. I'm going to do a quick little break here, and I'm going to enter into our deep dive segment here. No, actually, we're going to do Jimmy. We're gonna let Johnny go for a quick little pee break. I'm going to do here's what we're going to do here. Hold on, let me get my notes here in front of me here. Let's do this. Yeah, let's get to we're going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome for a few minutes, a topic we've had here on the show a few times. No, Jimmy, we're not going to do the creator spotlight just yet. Johnny's going to do a break. We're going to do deep dive, and then we're going to come back and we're going to keep the show rock and rolling here. We're just we're changing things on the fly here. All right, listen.
That's the way it should be, baby.
I agree. We have the structure, but we move things around. So, Johnny, going to take off for a quick little second, and then we're going to come back and reset here. So, Joe, we're going to break you off for a second here too, Jimmy. We'll get Joe broken off here for a quick second, Jimmy, and I'll do a deep dive intro, and then we'll bring the boys back up. And we're going to talk about it. So, listen, let's get after this. Have you ever had that sinking feeling like you're just pretending to know what you're doing? Guys, ears up on this one, because listen, I'm going to tell you that you're not alone. You're not alone. Because I'm going to spend some time over the next couple minutes here getting personal, opening up of my own lifelong battle. I had it last week with a fellow, imposter syndrome. And we talked about it on the show many times, and I bring it up again because it is something that we all have it. We battle it. It's our own mirror. Some days are better. Some days are other. Some days aren't as good. And the secret struggle that almost derailed my success in my journey in business. And why should you care? Why should you care about my imposter syndrome or Joe's or Johnny's or somebody else? Because you might be battling it yourself. Because imposter syndrome silently sabotages potential. It holds back careers and it limits happiness. You heard us talk a few moments earlier about Bezos and his philosophies and Richard Dawkins around, swimming against the stream of normalcy, going against what everybody's trying to make you be. Typical. And when you do that, you often find yourself waking up going, where do I belong? Am I an imposter? Who the hell am I? So that overcoming it can transform your confidence. When you overcome that feeling, it transforms your relationships. And even in my experience, your business. I'll tell you guys, in the early days of building ICUC, man, I'd wake up in the mornings and I'd fuck Joey. I'd look in the mirror and I'd be saying, what the hell am I doing, man? Constantly questioning if I was good enough. And it still happens today. There's days today, guys. I'm going to be very frank. There's days today. My little brain says, Bills, what are you doing, man? Get off the fucking stage, you fraud. Like, what? I'm not a fraud. And you battle it. And I've learned from my brother Johnny to count myself in. I've learned from my brother Johnny to not take 30 minutes processing it, process it in 30 seconds, process it in a minute, get that shit out of my head. And it took landing big name clients like Coca-Cola, Novartis, the big brands in the world. Those brands still didn't quiet those inner doubts. And then I go down the street and sell the company for $50 million, and you'd think I'd feel secure. Nope. Still perpetuated this feeling of identity crisis. Who am I? Am I just a guy that did one thing? Am I just a guy that built a company and sold it? Again, I had a conversation with the guy last week. He's like, Billis, why are you so hard on yourself? He goes, you built the company and sold it for a few dollars. I'm like, yeah, but I just take it for granted. He goes, no, don't take it for granted. The imposter syndrome hits harder. It leaves you feeling utterly lost. And when I did some research into this topic for this morning, research, Joe, finds that 70% of high achievers, 7 out of 10, battle imposter syndrome at some point. Often it's tied to self-worth. Often it's tied to fear of failure. And often it's tied to significant career transitions. For me, leaving and being a part of that company and then leaving it behind as I started this new journey meant starting from scratch and confronting all these insecurities I'd been hiding. So not only as I was building ICUC, I struggled with my own imposter syndrome, but I went through it again over the last 18 months, building this brand new platform for myself. So Joe, Johnny, how did I get through it? First, I leaned into my superpower, being authentic. And then I met a guy named Jon Andersen who only encouraged me more to be authentic. Be yourself. They don't like you. Who the fuck cares? Right. Good reminder. That authenticity became my anchor. If they're talking smack, you're on the right track. If you're walking towards darkness, you're actually closer to the light than you realize. So it was taking those things from this show, from my friends Marty, my friend Johnny, and showing up genuinely every single day, and then sharing my struggles openly behind this camera and behind this microphone. I learned to question my negative thoughts, throw them aside, and lean into my friends like Joe and AJ and Marty and John and Jory, and talk to all you guys, and talk to guys like Adam Holroyd and Good Time and everybody in the community, to remove that harsh critic from my brain. To say, nah, man, what are you talking about? Put some logic in front of yourself instead of the illogic that you're having. These steps profoundly reshaped how I viewed myself and my value. And I know value is a topic that we often don't talk enough about as human beings, right? We're always questioning others. But when you look in your own mirror and question your own value, that's when it gets really difficult. So I invite you to reflect. What's one little imposter syndrome lie that your brain is telling you today? What illogical advice is your brain telling you today? And then ask yourself this, like I've had to ask myself. And I'm telling you guys, this show has changed my life, because a guy over there, Jon Andersen, and a guy over there have convinced me with this. What could happen if you started believing in it instead of not believing in it? Jimmy, let's bring up Joe and Johnny and continue the conversation on imposter syndrome. John,
two things I got to jump on here, baby. So just loving what you're saying, by the way. God damn it. So first thing I would say is, for anybody that's experiencing imposter syndrome, here's the thing. When you fucking show up and nobody else is showing up, who's the fucking imposter? That's the first thing. All right. Second thing is this. You have imposter syndrome and you're fucking looking around, and there's no one around. It's because you're in new territory.
Yes.
Well, just fucking turn all the way around. They're all fucking behind you. That means you're ahead of the fucking pack.
Goosebumps.
If you don't have imposter syndrome, it means you're not getting to the fucking front of the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need it. Embrace it. Chase it. When it gets fucking scary when you get there, fuck. But that's the juice. You're going to do things when you're scared you wouldn't do when you're comfortable. You could be second in line. And the difference between being second in line or being first in line, what I really mean, I'm not talking first and second place. I'm talking about being able to follow the steps of the person first.
Yes.
Or being the person having to create the steps. Massive fucking
being first to the table.
Yes. Yes. Joey, I want to throw this at you here. I'm playing off what John just said, but because I've been thinking about, what you've been going through the last few months, exiting one career and moving into another direction. But, I got to think that, feeling like an imposter often means that you're stepping into new territory. And that's exactly like John said, where growth happens. Because if we're living in comfort and living in mediocrity, we're not getting better. So it's about embracing your authenticity, embracing your imperfections, and keep moving forward. Joe, as you've been going through your transition, is this a battle you're having, my brother?
All day. It's funny. Every time I'm on the show, you bring up, it's like therapy for me. You bring up things that, as someone who's almost 50 years old, I've built all the coping mechanisms in, but sometimes. So long story short, I'm coming back to the world after my mother passed, after I was sick. And I'm doing more events now in front of a lot of people, doing things I haven't done in years, and doing it publicly. So I work with this company called Dextago, and they're big into coaching and working with young sales reps. So they've been putting me front and center in front of 5, 10, 15 of these young sales reps at a time, saying, close their fucking deals for them. Why aren't they dead? Like, why are they dead? You got to come in and solve all this stuff on the spot, Montana. And I've been having a lot of imposter syndrome, sitting there fucking terrified sometimes before these things. But like John said, I used it as a checklist. Like, wait a second, stop, pause here for a minute. Like, I've learned how to observe rather than judge my own feelings and thoughts. And it allowed me the opportunity to just say, okay, let's checklist this off. Why do you feel like a fraud? How many people have you coached in your career? Thousands? What are these fucking 5 any different? How many dead fucking deals have you seen in your life? Hundreds of thousands?
Yeah.
Pipeline whisperer. Is that you just talking out of your ass because your mouth doesn't know any better? Look at your calendar. There's 15 people waiting for your help. They all have deals. They all know you'll help them. You won't tell their boss. You don't charge a nickel. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's because things are new. Because it's a brand new world for me. I closed up shop for 2 or 3 years before my mother passed. Used my mother's passing to close it down. Used being sick to be mediocre, to be like everybody else. Some fat fucking slob sitting on my couch, 30 pounds overweight, couldn't catch my breath going up the steps. But then there comes a point where you're like, okay, are you happy? Is this the goal for a kid who's always been different than everybody else? Now you look like everybody else.
Yeah.
And you act like everybody else. Now you're just a number.
Yes.
And it's not 1 or 2. And it means having to stare in the mirror and say, am I willing to do the work to hit all these goals that I still have for myself? At 50, am I calling it a fucking day? I'm going to sit there and be like, I thought about that the other day. Someone was like, hey, but you're on the couch all the time. Yeah, I earned the right. Earned the right to be what, lazy? That makes no fucking sense.
Exactly.
And it's funny, it took a fucking douche canoe irritating me to get all this out, to finally acknowledge, like, there's nothing to be afraid of. Sometimes I feel like perhaps imposter syndrome to a certain degree could be a healthy thing. If you use it as the opportunity to take stock. Like, okay, this is what you got to do here. Like, even yesterday, like, I sat there like a fucking bitch, panicking because somebody's like, I don't want to be your co-host anymore. And I get mad because they did it to me like I was a 16-year-old instead of, okay, here's your opportunity to be first to the table. Nobody's talking about the things you talk about. Certainly nobody's doing it in the format that you're doing in. Let's go out and be you again.
Our brain does funny things with logic. And when we're having success and we're building confidence, it's important to lean into that logic so you can walk away from the imposter syndrome. Listen, join the conversation today in the comments. How has imposter syndrome shown up in your life and what's helped you manage it? Because guys, we support each other. And sometimes we just need a reminder. What have you achieved? What's the logic? You got some confidence behind you. You have little wins every single day. Those little wins are moving in the right direction, away from that lack of confidence and away from that lack of logic and away from that imposter syndrome. Johnny, we're going to do
when are you smoking? Because I'd like to smoke my cigar too today. I brought a glass cigar today.
I'm actually in a hotel, so I can't smoke today.
Trying to try this bad boy.
Johnny's going to do a lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some conversational content here in a moment. But we're going to do the lifestyle tip with Jon Andersen. Let's get after it, Johnny.
Let's go. God, I had a couple of topics I was thinking about. One of them was just a doozy, and for some reason, I'm having a brain fart, so I'm going to go a different direction with this one. But I'm going to tie it into what we're talking about. So, imposter syndrome. You know, sometimes just a different title, it seems more complex. It can be one of those things that people tend to get even more confused by than what the foundation of it really is. So let's break it down. Let's peel the onion back, because at the bottom of it all is fear. And when you learn to deal with fear, and keep in mind, attached to fear is failure. And so really, imposter syndrome, if you get down below, has a few elements that we deal with all the time. And when you learn to pursue failure, and when you learn to use fear as a motivator, all of a sudden this imposter syndrome thing just becomes this fucking weird title that attaches itself to shit that you've learned to harness and turn into good. So if you're one of these people who hears this term imposter syndrome and it gives you an extra, chill down your spine, it's just a fancy fucking name for dealing with some fear and dealing with some fear of failure. Lean into these two, and your fucking life will change right quick. Rock and roll.
Johnny's talking about leaning into fear, leaning into failure that helps you walk away from the idea of imposter syndrome. We're walking AJ Zeglin into the lab here this morning. Morning lab with Keith and friends. You got myself, Jon Andersen. CMarty's away today. We got Joe Fontana sitting in the co-host chair, and of course, we got the buddy, we got the brother, we got the man of the hour, AJ Zeglin, joining us. We're talking imposter syndrome. AJ, how are you today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. We're good. How many guys, how many couples, how many humans are walking into your office or calling you on the phone or booking an appointment with one of the greatest mental performance experts in Canada and saying, dude, I just don't know. I'm lost. I don't know where the hell I am. I feel like I'm an imposter. Is that a normal thing in your world, AJ Zeglin?
Every single person I've ever met, I think at some point in their life has felt that way, right? Whether it was professionally in the workplace, whether it was in school, whether it was personally in their lives, in their relationships, thinking they maybe don't deserve something, or it's pretty common for us to have that experience.
What do you often say to somebody when they say to you, AJ, I'm lost. I don't really know who I am right now. Is there when you hear Johnny speak, I'm going to speak for John. John sees it as an opportunity. He's like, yes, awesome. Because now we can find out what's really going on in your head.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the first thing that I usually do is just obviously validate that they're feeling that way. I don't try to ignore it. And then I also try to reassure them and be like, hey, welcome to the club. Every single other person, when you were sitting in that room feeling that you maybe didn't deserve to be there, so were the other 99 people in the room. You were all thinking the same thing, right? So
yeah, isn't that true?
For somebody who's been in the military, I can tell you that's how a lot of guys feel. We're all afraid of the same thing. But as it goes to imposter syndrome, the difference between failure and success, the difference between cowards and heroes is how you own your fear.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
No, it is. You think about it. The guy who's a coward's going to run from the bullet. A hero's going to run into him.
I've never thought about it in your perspective, Joe, because you're right. If I'm sitting in a transport in a room with the four of us that are all in the military and I'm scared of dying, I'm not talking about it. Yet we're all
scared of the same thing. We're all scared of it for the same reason.
A leader pulls his pants down first. Yeah. When I say pull your pants down, most people are fucking scared to pull their pants down. The leader's not afraid. He's afraid, but he'll deal with he has the courage to deal with being scared.
There's nothing scarier, yet more empowering than having to tell guys, listen, we're either going to be alive or dead in 10 minutes.
Joe,
so fucking let's do it.
Well, it's interesting because this even relates to that text, Johnny, that I shared with you a couple of days ago. I sent to Carter, and AJ, you haven't heard this, and Joe, you haven't heard it either. But AJ, Carter's going to the last game tonight, and after the last game that they lost, I sent him a text, and he's the captain of the hockey team. And I said, this is relevant to this discussion, I believe, because it's about leadership. Embrace the responsibility. You have earned it. When we see responsibility as recognition of our abilities rather than a burden, it completely transforms how we approach a challenge. Because often leaders, we think that we have to be the bad and be the leader and carry that burden, when in reality, it's actually a recognition that you're the leader for a reason and that you should embrace that role. You follow me, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I think that has something to do with imposter syndrome as well, because, if you've been designated the leader or you're stepping up to be the leader, it's not a grind like the gym. There's gratitude in that moment where I have the privilege of leading Joe Fontana, Jon Andersen, and AJ Zeglin. Not a burden to me. No, it's a privilege.
It's an honor.
Yes, there's something to be said for that, I believe. Right. So anyways, listen, I want to move away from imposter syndrome. I had a fun one to talk about today for all of us, which I think is a great one because we're here on a conversational show. And good morning, Peaches. I see you there. Thanks for joining the show this morning. So here's the hook. Are you done talking? Here's how to gracefully exit any conversation without awkwardness. I know that we've all found ourselves stuck in a conversation and wondered, how do I get out of this fucking thing without hurting AJ's feelings or John's feelings or Joey's feelings or causing some awkwardness? I want to unpack the art of gracefully exiting a conversation, because sometimes, guys, chat goes on forever and it doesn't have to go on forever. So I want to talk about mastering this idea of a graceful exit. It's not just about being polite. It's protecting your relationship. It's boosting your confidence. And it's going to let you reclaim that valuable time that we talk about, all without leaving a negative impression. Boys, get this. Did a little bit of research. It suggests that people often stay in conversations up to 50% longer than they prefer, primarily due to social anxiety or fear of appearing rude. However, you talk to conversational experts and they highlight various polite exit strategies using natural conversation pauses, expressing gratitude, or just humorously acknowledging the awkwardness, or even subtly using nonverbal cues such as angling your body away or checking your watch. Now, guys, have you guys found yourself in these situations where you're like, oh my God, how do I get out of this conversation? AJ, starting with you, brother.
Well, I'm sure I have been. I can't think of any like right now off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm sure we've all been in a conversation that we feel has gone on a little too long, right? But
Yes.
And how do we get out there without seeming rude or without hurting the person's feelings? But yeah, I can't think of any recently that's happened.
AJ, let me just interject real quick. I want you to keep going. But one of the things I was going to say is having that filter up of fucking recognizing the wrong and the right people to engage in conversation with is part of it. So your filter's on point, brother, because you're not end up having conversations with you're like, fuck, how do I get out of this shit? You just find a way to avoid that conversation to begin with, which is one of my solutions to this.
Oh, so Johnny, your solution is you just don't even get into a conversation with somebody you know is going to suck your time up to start with.
Yeah, or you all see it. You're coming up. You're approaching. You can see that someone's fucking squaring up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. God damn it. You know, like fuck. If I'm coming and they're still cocked sideways, they're letting me go. They're gonna let me go. They pivot in front, like, hey, oh, God damn it.
What about
so that being said, I have to keep my pace. I have to shake their hand as I go by. I have to give them a high five. I have to keep my momentum and not give them the idea that I'm going to stop. Because now at that point, I'm the fucking dummy. I know what's coming. You know? I mean, I don't fucking go into the candy shop because I understand what the possibilities will be if I go into the candy shop. Well, if there's someone that I don't really want to engage in a long conversation, if I just want to say, hey, how you doing? I can do that on the move.
Yes, like a politician. Yeah. What about you, Joe? What's your personal go-to excuse when wrapping up conversations?
Well, I just want to add to John, so to start them, because I do events all the time. It's my business, so I'm always around people. I'm like, oh, great, here comes this fucking dumpster fire. I only got 2 seconds. What's up?
Yes.
Leaving, I got a few. Don't let me keep you. Oh my God, monopolized so much of your time already. It's been great catching up. It's been great chatting with you. Funny ones, listen, I got diarrhea. I got to run. And cut scene, and I'll walk off. Like my exits depend on how early in the evening you're interacting with me and whether or not I'm drinking. Because I'm a light drunk nowadays. Like you get a full glass of bourbon into me, and we'll have conversations about me tattooing my face. That's a story for another time. But yeah, it's been great catching up. It's good to see you again. I gotta run. Like, just own it though. Like, listen, I'm busy. I'm not,
Yes.
I'm busy. I'm sorry.
So AJ,
here's my number. Throw time on my calendar. Hey, here's my number.
Well, another quick element to this. Another quick element to this is if like I've always been this guy in motion, right? So even the people surrounding me, close to me in my circle, my friends, they'll even recognize. They'll text me, hey, let me know when you have time for a phone call. Because they understand that I'm in motion. I'm not one of those people that sits still a lot. Oh, I'll just try to catch you. It ain't gonna fucking happen. Because even if they call and I'm in motion, I'll text them, hey, we'll have to catch up later, something like that. So when you're constantly in motion, people will tend to understand that. And it's almost like that's part of the filter as well.
Well, and Johnny, sometimes I prefer text over voice because I can multitask. or I can have a conversation with the three of us right now via texting, and I think there's some value in that. We got Peaches coming in with yesterday. I put my headphones on while I was in my store grocery shopping, and I was the weirdo dancing in the aisles, but my mental state was great, not letting people bother my inner peace. And I think those physical barriers we put in are great ways to avoid or be a part of conversation. But AJ, here are 2 actionable steps to immediately improve our conversation skills, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Practice the future plans technique. Shift focus by asking the other person about their upcoming activities, naturally concluding the interaction. So, for example, hey, Zeglin, what do you got going on today? Which is giving you the cue that I'm looking to wrap this up. And then the second one is master a polite and clear closing statement. Unlike Joe Fontana, which was such as, it was wonderful catching up with you today, man. Or like John is like, I got a rock and roll, man. I'm moving right now. Let's connect soon. Send me a text.
But John can say that because he's the size of a mountain.
Yes.
Like he's Mount Rushmore. Like if I gave anybody the look that John did, they'd be like, yeah, let's still come over. But John just needs to do like gorilla chess. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna go with that guy today.
When we do that, we give that warmth without over committing to somebody. So even if John looks like a mountain or looks like a midget, him by making that wonderful statement of saying, hey, Joe, good catching up with you, giving you a handshake, sending you a text, saying, let's reconnect soon. It's going to convey that warmth without over committing. AJ, when you hear this, what do you think of this?
Yeah, no, I think both of those can be effective strategies. I think too, context is always important, right? Like, how well do you know the other person, right? If you don't know them very well, your strategy for exiting the conversation might be much different than someone that you know well. Like if we're talking to each other and we've known each other a long time and we're really good friends, you might simply be honest and be like, hey man, sorry, like whatever. And you're not worried about, you know what I mean? We know that we're friends. We know that we're wherever, and we could just, shoot it straight and just be like, I'm short on time on this, or I got to do this. And you're not worried about, hurting my feelings and whatever. Right. So yes. I think sometimes obviously who we're communicating with too, might also dictate in how we deliver that message. Right. Obviously, if it's someone that we know and have a comfortable relationship with, we communicate in a much more relaxed kind of way. And we know that we're solid. We're not worried about offending the person or hurting their feelings, right? So if it's someone that we don't know that well, but we don't want to come across a certain way, then like the 2 strategies that you just listed there, they're probably they sound like they're very well thought out, effective strategies. I can't speak to them from a personal use standpoint or anything, but I think anything where you're at least just conscious that how you act and the words that you have do affect people, and if you're coming from that standpoint, then I think, and your heart's in the right place, I think you can't really go wrong. But
remember, guys, the goal isn't to avoid social interactions, but to engage confidently and respectfully. And every conversation that you have is a chance to practice the art of connecting and guys, gracefully disconnecting as you wrap up this.
In spotting the conversations that you want. And the conversations that are going to enrich what you're doing, not the conversations that are going to be wasting your time.
Yes. Like Johnny, we'll call it our brother Joe. Joe had a conversation last night. It went sideways on him, and he caught himself in a spiral of emotion for 30 some odd minutes, which was, hold on, brother. Let's learn how to gracefully disconnect from that conversation, put some positive emotion into the moment, and move forward. And guys, we're going to do this collectively. AJ, Keith, John, and Joey here. Peaches says, I'm about to go on my morning walk, and I will have to say I'm having a procedure tomorrow that I have to be put to sleep. I'm very nervous, but I'm putting it all in the hands of the greater good and hoping for answers. Well, Peaches, I can tell you right now, you got my thoughts, my prayers. You got AJ's, you got John, and you got Joey Fontana's thoughts and prayers as well. So you get after it, Peaches.
Whatever was supposed to happen, whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen, brother. And
then Peaches, I invite you, come back to us tomorrow, come back next week, hang out with us, and we're going to keep moving that positive momentum in for you there. So Zeglin, what do you got going on today, brother? There's my cue to wrap up Zeglin with you. What do you got going on today, pal?
What do you got going on? Oh man, you guys are trying to get rid of me. I can feel it.
Yeah, you don't got to go anywhere. Actually, we're just working to the top of the hour here. What do you got going on today, pal?
In the gym and then in the clinic.
Yeah,
Typical day for me.
But
a good day.
Typical
AJ, we got to connect. We got to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that.
Typical days are a good thing, AJ, aren't they? And it's funny because a lot of people don't like typical days. That's a boring day. No, man, typical days are good days.
Oh man, you know what? I genuinely love what I do so much that when I'm in the gym and I get to hang out all day in the gym, and then I get to go to a clinic and work with the people that I work with, I'm happy, man. I'm happy doing it. I feel I feel purpose. I feel useful. I feel good.
That's awesome. We got Adam Howard coming in with, I agree with you, John. You got to find the meaningful conversations. A lot of people just want to talk to hear their own voice. Oh, baby. That is a very, very common theme. A lot of people like to hear themselves talk. And then Peaches comes back, guys. Next week for sure. I'll see y'all later. Have an amazing day and weekend. Thank you for all the positive vibes. Appreciate it. Truly, Peaches, you get after it.
You got this.
I got a question for AJ, totally off topic.
Yeah.
Before it goes.
Throw it at him.
So AJ, I'm in that. Normally I keep my beard really tight. And I'm in this phase, like, I'm going to try to grow it out a little bit.
Oh,
okay. So I'm probably, I don't know. I'm in that just the front end of the shaggy period where it's starting to fucking itch. How many days do I have to go through this before the thing fucking changes?
I love this. Yes.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good question. So mine always kind of like sits a little bit on a longer side, like the majority of the time. But I think I've become so used to it that I get that question a lot. Like, when is this thing going to stop itching? And I've actually, I don't notice that for myself. Like, I don't ever go through a period where I'm like, oh, this thing's really bugging me. It's itching. If anything, I go through the period where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's almost like my beard has bedhead. And now I'm like added an extra element to my morning where I'm having to like try to fix it. That's the last thing I need in the morning is an extra step to get ready. But, it would be.
So when you're originally growing it out, when you're first growing it, you didn't go through an itchy phase?
No, not really. Yeah. I know. Okay. Very fortunate. But it would be like your question, John, when you're dealing with someone that's going through something, can you hang in for one more second?
Yeah, I know I can make it for today. I've already decided today's going down.
Can you make it for today? Yeah. Can you make it one more minute?
Funny side note. Yeah, yesterday. So I was looking for some fucking beard oil. I couldn't find it. So I went for some coconut oil. And it's kind of in a paste. So I get it on my hands and I'm wiping it. And I get it on my beard and it actually kind of softened up the hair. It felt pretty good, right? But as the day goes on, that shit was actually, I don't know, it was all wiped in, but there was enough that the shit kept fucking draining. It was running down my fucking neck. I kept having to wipe coconut oil off my hands out.
And you know what? That is a good point. And I did forget to mention that I do use like a beard balm. So I do put it in, and when I'm in the shower, I do actually use conditioner in my beard. So I don't know if
care for like your hair.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's because of the conditioner in the beard and then putting in the beard balm after that, because it's softer. Maybe that's why I never go through the itchiness. That could be it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Right on. Beard advice with AJ and John this morning. That is awesome.
I'm probably not the right guy for that, but there's probably guys.
I've heard a couple people say the conditioner is the way to go when you're itching. Just some bullshit $2 hair conditioner.
Yeah. There you go. And Peach is coming in with moisturizing the skin and the hair, regular cleaning and gentle grooming. John, stay strong. Hey, AJ, before you go, you got a quick second. I got here's something for you guys. Have you ever wondered when we first started talking? When humans had their very first conversation? Guys, I found something last night that dives into some groundbreaking research that rewrites the human understanding of language origins, revealing that we've been capable of conversations far longer than we've ever imagined. A recent study from Frontiers in Psychology, AJ, has shifted the timeline dramatically, suggesting that humans had the cognitive capacity for language. Guys, get this. Johnny, as far back as 135,000 years ago. Now, this research based on genomic evidence rather than traditional archaeological findings indicates that language might have initially emerged as an internal cognitive system long before being used in social conversations, which researchers believe started around 100,000 years ago. What's fascinating, guys, is that the 35,000 year gap between having the capacity for language and then using it socially points to a crucial period of cognitive evolution for humans that shaped human behavior as we know it today. And I found this fascinating because a study led by genomic analysis from early human population underscores language not just as a byproduct of evolution, John, because I know we've talked about philosophy and evolution before, but as a catalyst for it. I thought this was fascinating because we take conversation and language for granted, but when you look into the history of it, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, super fascinating. Obviously, like that's, you know, when you think of what makes us such a unique species on this planet, it's really how we communicate, right?
Yes.
But yeah, no, there's some really interesting information. I don't know if this is along the same study that you're referencing, but there's some kind of new understanding too of how, you know, there's some archaeological finds that date back, that predate further than what they think they have recorded evidence of communication and how we maybe communicated stuff, how we wrote stuff down. And the archaeological finds have been that there's a certain pattern to them, right? Like, so let's say you have a necklace that's all teeth from I don't know, wolf teeth or something.
Yes.
This is probably a bad example I'm making up, and it's all like, you know, the certain teeth out of the wolf's mouth, and they've made this necklace out of it or something, or from a saber tooth or whatever it is. Like you would have had to communicate, even though you would had to have some form of communication within your circle, within your tribe, to let them know, like, hey, we're trying to collect these things to collectively put them together, right? It's not something you would have got all from one spot. So the fact that some of these artifacts exist has allowed them to kind of come to the conclusion that they would have had some way of communicating this, even though, you know, this archaeological artifact predates what we thought communication and by a long time period. If, you know, if that, I'm probably not explaining it as well as I could, but it's basically like, you know, we would have had to let each other know, like, hey, the goal here is for us to find so many of these teeth so we can make a necklace out of it. How did we let each other know that? There must have been some form of communication to let them know that idea, and that's what we were doing. So because of that, we now think that the ability to communicate actually came a lot earlier than what our general understanding of it was.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys.
I mean, just to take that a step further, though, AJ, excuse me, Keith, just to take that a step further, think about that has to apply to any action that requires more than one person. So the very act of finding shelter, of coordinating an attack to kill prey, to understanding that this is something you can eat, or just sharing communally means that communication probably predated even just something as simple as putting a necklace together. And I think as we dig deeper, like literally deeper into our own planet, we're going to find relics of civilizations that are going to fascinate us beyond belief as to what they did and accomplished.
Yeah. Johnny?
Well, you know, what we think about, we think communicate, we think about words, but words are a very small part of our communication. So
8%.
even a sound, there we go. But thank you for the stat, AJ. So even a sound that's not a word is communicated. You know, a gesture is communication. So there's no question before they were actually communicating like this, they were much more efficient at the other types of communication.
That's right. That's right. Remember, guys, every conversation has the power to change your perspective, to build deeper relationships, and here's the big one: open doors to opportunities you never imagined. So I invite you to go through your day today, go through your week today, lead your conversations today with curiosity, love that word, and confidence, knowing that you're tapping into a deeply human legacy. Lead with curiosity, lead with confidence, and go have a conversation with somebody. And we've taught you how to exit the conversation when it's time to be done. There you go. All right. AJ, we're walking you out. I think we're going to get Johnny out here too. I'm suspecting, Johnny, you got to rock and rolls out well, pal?
Yep. 6:15, perfect timing, brother.
Awesome. So we're going to walk Johnny out. We're going to walk AJ out. Joe, you want to hang out for a few moments with me, or do you got to rock and roll as well?
No, what time's the show over, by the way?
That's over when Jimmy tells me it's over.
I've only got like 10 minutes or so. Let's do this.
Gentlemen, end scene.
I love it.
But AJ's out of here. Johnny, you drive safe, pal. Keep me posted on your back scene, your back of the road travels. I love the curiosity that you and Terry keep undertaking there. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, I'm suspecting, from a different hotel, motel place somewhere in the Western United States countryside. Am I correct?
Yeah, different location for sure.
Hey, are the dogs with you? I got to think yes, right?
Yeah, they're sleeping right there.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
What kind of dogs?
They're pit bulls.
Yeah.
They come with us everywhere.
John and I talk about our dogs all the time here, man. I love my dogs. They create so much joy in my life, like I know with Johnny too as well. So Johnny, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. As always, lots of love for you and Terry. You guys travel safe, please. And one last thing. Holroyd gives you something, Johnny. For my beard, Holroyd says, I like the Moroccan oil. It smells nice and it keeps the skin from drying out. And you know, Johnny, I have some Moroccan oil myself upstairs. I've used it when my beard was a little thicker. I enjoyed it as well. So there's something for you as well, pal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
There you go.
All right, brother. Have a good loop. I'll see you tomorrow.
For sure. Be safe, okay?
You got it, brother.
All right. Johnny's going to get out of here. And I'm going to hang out with Joey here. I got a couple topics here for us here. I got one for us.
Bring it on.
We can get into it here. Producer Jimmy, I'm going to find us something here. What do I got here? Yeah, here's something here. Get this, Joey. Men, before you dive into the app making frenzy, I got something for you to think about. Pause and listen, because if you're starting your day today going, oh, I'm going to develop an app today, Joe, I'm making an app. I got an app for my audience. I got some data that's going to show guys something that I need them to lean into. Most new apps, Joe Fontana, they don't just fail. They completely bomb. So if you're thinking about launching an app, you might want to rethink your approach. Guys, before you build that app, check out the startling data. Get this, Joe. Revenue Cat's latest 2025 State of Subscription app reveals some hard truths, man. Get this. The top 5% of new apps earn over 400 times more revenue in their first 2 years than the bottom 25%. And only 19% of new apps reach $1,000 in monthly recurring revenue within 2 years. That's 81% of guys and girls and humans that are starting apps, Joey, that are failing before they even get started. And a mere 5% surpass $10,000 in revenue a month, highlighting the fierce competition. So it's not just about having a great idea. This world right now, it's about literally surviving an app-eat app world. Even successful apps now often rely on hybrid monetization models, mixing subscriptions with lifetime purchases or consumables. Joe, when I found this study, what struck me is how we as humans, our ego gets in the way of something when we start making something, which is this, to assume this. Oh, Joe, I'm making an app, and I'm just going to assume you're going to put it on your home screen for me. Like what?
I work with founders all the time. They think because they've spent all this time and they're married to it, 18, 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then they put it in front of somebody. I'm like, dude, that's a dog with fleas.
Yes.
That's a dumpster fire there, my man. I'd run from that. Like, no. And like 90% of the jokes I put on LinkedIn before I put them on, I was like, no, don't do that one.
What I find fascinating about this, Joe, is that, because this is a conversation not many of us talk about, which is, so what's on your home screen? You're like, what do you mean what's on home screen? Because you think about it, that real estate on your home screen is extremely valuable. You're staring at it throughout the day 1,000 times, right? And in my experience, most people are putting their most used apps on their home screen. And if you don't get to the home screen and you're buried, it's like Google search 2 or 3 or 4 pages in. If you're not on the front, you're probably not going to be there. So what I would often say to somebody, if somebody comes to me with their business idea about an app, and I'm like, are you going to get on somebody's home screen? And they look at me, Joe, like, what do you mean, Keith? Like, so do you think
you got to live?
Do you think you're good enough to replace X or replace Twitter?
You're replacing his LinkedIn app? You're replacing Zoom? You're replacing Slack?
Exactly.
What are you replacing?
Because that's what it is, Joe. It's not a an and, it's usually an or, because my experience and stats show it. The moment you move the app to the second page, it becomes an or, not an and. And you know,
second fiddle.
Exactly it. Right. So these stats are blowing me away, man, that, you know, before you even start, you've probably already failed. And Holred comes in with, I think apps is such a saturated market. Hard to argue with you there, pal. There are so many that do the same thing. I would think yours has to be the very best to sell, since so many are free. It's hard to argue with that, Fontana.
People pay for apps.
Yeah.
You can't get an app where you can't get for free. I find that fascinating.
Yeah. So
there's an app for that, I'm sure. There's an app for buying apps, I'm sure.
So guys, I invite you to think about this. Here's 2 critical steps if you are determined and determined to create a business application or a consumer application. Validate before you create. Test your idea with a simple landing page or minimum or with an MVP before you invest heavily. Listen, Joe, making an
Talk to people. Talk to people.
Yes.
Talk to people.
Yes.
So I'm in the business of putting companies in front of their top prospects.
Okay.
And the reason these events, when they fail, they all fail for 2 reasons. Either the sales reps don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's a story for another day.
Yep.
Or they haven't properly listened to the people they expect to buy their product.
Yes.
They're coming with, this is what I think bothers you, instead of what bothers you. And the companies that succeed are the ones that come to the table with, I can assume this is your problem, but I'm going to get fired for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, just let's sit down and you tell me what the issue is. Walk me through the challenge. And for somebody that's trying to sell a product, that's the best way to get them to buy, because they feel that it's a decision that they come to on their own.
Yes.
As it applies to apps, what's a decision that are they going to come to the decision on their own that this is something that is a high priority and worth their money? Because if it's not, then it's like jokes. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Guys, remember, real success doesn't avoid the facts. Nope, it embraces them. So face the data, put the ego aside, and adapt your strategy. And you're going to
put the ego aside. That's the biggest thing. Like your product not having a fit, it not resonating with the buyer, does not make you a failure.
True.
It just means you came to the market with a product that nobody liked.
Yeah.
And think of the biggest successes out there. They'll all say, I'm sure, and anybody who's found any success in their life will say, fall down 6, get up 7.
Yes. And guys, as you're building your thing out, don't just build a better app. Think about building a smarter business. And as Joe said, solve a problem. If you're solving a problem, you got a business. If you haven't solved the problem, you just still have an idea, right? So
that's a hobby.
It's a hobby. And in 2025, I'm still wondering what hobbies are anymore. But guys, these stats were killing me when I read this. So listen, share your thoughts. Have you launched an app that didn't perform as expected? Tell us what to learn. Tell us what you learned. And did you put your ego aside? And enjoy. In many ways, it's the same thing with this show. Every single day, there's thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of songs released on Spotify, or podcasts are launched. And it's not lost upon me that I deserve an audience. It's not lost upon me that we have to put the work in to find that product market fit, to find men that want to come and enjoy our content. And it's not lost upon me that got to put ego aside, that just because I show up every single morning doesn't just, why isn't everybody else showing up? It's the same thing with the app. Well, Joe, the app's on your home screen. Why aren't you using it? I don't see any value in it. There's the key point. Create value, guys, and guys keep coming back. That's the whole story.
Yeah, don't put your expectations on anybody else. Do the work.
Right. That's right. That's exactly it. All right, pal. Well, listen, we're going to wrap up with you here before I walk you. What do you got going on, pal? Let's do a quick little catch up. How's life with you? What's been shaking? What today?
Same day, different fucking headaches. You know how it is.
Yeah.
New day, different headaches. Got me at a loss. I usually don't pitch on these things. I don't know what to say now. Living life, loving life.
Yeah,
got a happy, I got air in my lungs. My belly is full of food. It's a good day.
Awesome.
If you take that approach, nothing's going to get you down.
Had a tough day yesterday, though. So what's the plans with the podcast, pal?
So like I said, once I got over being a bitch about it and focusing on the noise, I found a marketer that I've worked with before, the one who initially put this idea in my head, because it's a format that I use in my work. So I do events. They're geared towards marketers.
Yeah.
I can give them examples of what events they would have to pay me $30,000, $40,000 for by letting them attend one that I build for them. So that's where Sink or Sink came from. I used to, and I do it monthly. If you look at my content, I'm doing some dinners in San Francisco and Boston next week.
Yeah.
I've got a chocolate tasting tomorrow.
Ooh,
They're
baby.
for marketing leaders to not only talk through the things that they find challenging, but have the opportunity to see what my event would look like before they lay out a nickel doing it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. That's awesome.
And then I lost my train of thought because it's
Hey, Joe, are you a morning coffee guy or are you a throughout the day coffee guy?
just morning. First thing, but I drink my coffee about that much. It's a little espresso. It's function only. I want to get the juices flowing. I'm typically at around 30 ounces of water before I have it for the first time, so it doesn't have any negative impact on me.
I got some.
But yeah, I can't. My wife loves. She'll, no pun intended, she'll milk a cup of coffee for 6 hours, and I hate it when she does it in the summer because she'll like put it in the car, go into a store with me, come back, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and she'll just start drinking that coffee again. I'm like, stomach of a goddamn goat.
My wife's the same way, man. It sits forever on the counter, just sips it cold, and I'm like, oh, I can't drink. But listen, Joe, I found some research, man. Have you ever wondered if your morning coffee habit is actually affecting how long you'll live? Today, I found some fascinating research that reveals the surprising truth about the best time to drink coffee. And frankly, it might just change your daily routine. Now, listen, timing your coffee just right can dramatically improve your health and longevity. Imagine sipping your coffee not only for that morning boost, but also knowing it's actively contributing to cardiovascular health and reducing mortality risk, Fontana. Well, listen, a groundbreaking study from Tulane and Harvard, just up the road from you, pal, analyzed the coffee drinking habits of over 40,000 adults. This is not what a classroom of people here. Out of the 40,000 adults, Fontana, they found two distinct coffee drinking patterns. You and me, the morning focused type, and then our wives, the all day type. Remarkably, those who primarily consumed coffee in the morning had significantly lower risks of all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease-related deaths compared to those who drank coffee throughout the day. Interesting. This morning-centric habit suggests and aligns better with our body's circadian rhythm, helping to maximize coffee's health benefits. So, what you might want to do is think about your daily coffee routine. Are you an early bird coffee drinker or are you sipping late into the evening? Because shifting these coffee habits earlier will boost your health and your energy levels. Surprised by this, Joe?
No, not at all. What sucks, though, is that I'm finally right with my wife, and she's nowhere around to hear it. Motherfucker. That's all. Like, that's. Listen to me. I know it's that. As you said, I was like, I'm right. Where is she? She's usually right around the corner. Like, I don't want to start calling her name. I'm on the show, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Fucking. It's like if a tree falls in the forest. Does anybody hear it? Like, I'm right.
What's your wife's name?
Laura.
So Laura, this is recording, so Joe's going to play it later. Joe's right. He's right. So here's the thing, Laura.
Please, I'm no shit. Please send me a snippet of this.
We're gonna.
It will be the joke of the day.
There you go.
If a husband is right and his wife is not around to hear it, that it still happened.
Oh, there you go, Jimmy. There's the cut for Joe's content today. We're going to get it to you, Joe. That's good. I like that. So here's the thing, right?
From the top of the stairs, my wife goes, no.
So here's the thing, guys. What do you do to leverage this discovery? I'm going to invite you to do this. If you're an all-day coffee drinker, you might want to aim to drink most of your coffee before noon. And if you're accustomed to drinking coffee late into the afternoon or evening, try shifting that coffee routine earlier gradually. And then, Joe, you just want to stick to those 2 to 3 cups for optimal health benefits. More isn't always better, especially later in the day, as this can disrupt your sleep and circadian rhythms. So guys, little study here. Get that coffee in first instead of all day. It's going to help you out. And listen, embracing these simple shifts, Joe, like adjusting your coffee timing, can empower you to live a healthier, happier life. So tomorrow, when you get up and you're brewing that first cup, you know that you're making a powerful choice for your health and you're not wrecking it throughout the entire day. I thought that was fascinating. I found that I subscribed to a Schwarzenegger newsletter, and that one dropped into my notes. And I just got a note from my colleague Melissa, Joe, and her comment was, let's see, she says the comment was, not giving up my late night coffee. All right. So I guess Melissa will not be working for me for a long time, Joe, because according to the stats, life's going to catch up with her sooner than later. All jokes aside, Melissa. So
yeah, please send me the link to the article where I'm right. That's all I heard the entire time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right. Finally right about something. Listen, I've got to run.
You got to rock and roll.
I love doing this. For those of you that are doing this, for anybody doing this for the first time, sticking with it. It has an impact. It will change your life. And I don't say those words lightly.
Awesome.
There's no bullshit from me.
Awesome. I appreciate you, Fontana. You showed up last minute. I sent you a text this morning today. You want to hop in here? We had Marty had some prior activities here, and you're like, yeah, come on, jump in. So actually, Joe had some plans, and I got a text later saying, yeah, I can jump in. So, brother, I appreciate you. A lot of love from me to you. Go and get it today, and let's stay in touch, okay?
Can never say no to you. Thank you for everything you do, my man. Tell John I said safe travels, and see, I have jokingly called CMartyFit so many different things that I can't remember what's right anymore.
There you go. Yes.
Please tell Charles Murphy I said hello.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Take care, everybody.
Off the screen.
We'll make it happen.
See you later, pal. All right, there we go. Joe Fontana's getting out of here. I'm still sticking around with producer Jimmy. I'm your host, Keith Bilous here. Mornings Live with Keith and friends. I see you all there in the comments. I appreciate you, Adam. I appreciate you, Peaches. I appreciate your Fontana, Holroyd, the whole gang here. Listen, if you're new to the channel, this is a morning show for men. We get after it every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. My three co-hosts have just bantered out of the building here. They're on their way. Myself, Jon Andersen, one of the world's strongest men, joins me every single morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. CMartyFit, the boy wonder, Christopher Martin from Maryland, joins me every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And of course, we had AJ Zeglin joining us here every Tuesday and Thursday for Mind Fuel content about mental performance. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we got Jory Jansen here talking protein, talking food, talking nutrition. And of course, every single day for 90 to 120 minutes, we get after topics, men, that will help you get through your day. Morning news that you can use. Morning news that's going to help you with conversations. It's going to help you with content, and it's going to help you move your life forward. More importantly, it's going to help you avoid the snooze button. Yeah, you hit that snooze button, you're 9 minutes behind. Don't hit the snooze button. All right, Jimmy, so we're at a pivot point of the show here. My pivot is, do I do the community corner creator spotlight, or do I throw a couple articles here that I want to get to this today? And I think I'm going with the latter. I think I'm going to go with the latter because I like these ones. Jimmy, we're going after it. Jimmy, when AI can't tell time. Yeah, the hidden gaps in artificial intelligence. This one got me, man. I found this one yesterday, and it struck me because we talk on the show about how smart AI is and how dumb human beings are continuing to get. Well, get this, Jimmy. Did you ever think that AI could solve complex problems but fail to read an analog clock? Well, listen, today we're going to explore some research that reveals that there are still significant gaps in AI's everyday skills, like telling time and interpreting calendars. So as much as we keep leaning into this tool set, getting us this done, that done, writing articles, doing research, doing all these exceptional things for us, can't still tell time. Yeah, still can't tell time. So why does this matter? Well, imagine we're moving into a world of AI agents, agentic work with agents. Well, imagine relying on AI for critical tasks, Jimmy, like scheduling healthcare appointments or managing transportation logistics, only to discover it can't reliably interpret basic timekeeping. Well, these findings underscore the urgency of addressing this fundamental, simple issue. Could you imagine Holroyd, you're using this AI and you're getting it to schedule a meeting and it's like, it can't tell time. You're like, well, what the hell is the point of all of this? Right? Because we often talk ourselves as human beings. It takes no talent to be on time. It takes no talent to get to a place on time. But yet, if we're going to be surrounding ourselves with all these smart robots, It ain't telling us time, Obscure Ninja. And it's funny how we can't tell time in our dreams too. It's true, Obscure. Absolutely it. Listen, researchers at the University of Edinburgh tested state-of-the-art multi-model AIs using specialized data sets. The results, surprisingly poor performance. AI correctly interpreted the clock hand positions. So this is about looking at an analog clock. And hey, listen, we know these AI tools can now see. We put our cameras up, they can see stuff, and we can talk to images, and they can dissect images. Well, they pointed the AI at an analog clock. It only got it correctly right less than 25% of the time, especially struggling with Roman numerals and stylized clocks. Now, calendar-based tasks weren't much better, with errors about 20% of the time. Now, these basic skills are ones that humans master early, highlighting a definite gap and an unexpected limitation of AI. And I find this fascinating because when we use these tools, we create these big complex documents, we create content, and we start to think these tools can do everything for us. And we start to take them for granted. And then all of a sudden, you give it a simple, basic task and it fails. You're like, oh, it's a great reminder we still have a long ways to go with some of this technology. So for developers and tech companies, 2 actionable steps stand out. And for us as well as human beings, regular civilians that are using this technology. You got to use more diverse visual training data sets so that these AI can see the clocks better. And they need to prioritize some fundamental cognitive skill tests, basic human teaching, right? So here's a question to reflect on all of you. Have you ever assumed that AI was smarter or more capable than it actually was? I've been that way person, only to be surprised by its limitations. Yeah, true story. So there's one of them, right? It can't tell time accurately, so don't put all of your eggs into the basket, recognizing that AI's limits doesn't diminish its potential. It empowers us to build more effective and reliable tools. So just because it can't tell time right now, I can assure you it's going to tell time tomorrow. Let's keep exploring, let's keep questioning, and let's keep exploring and improving this experience together better. Man, I found this one was quite fascinating. Jimmy, when you hear about this, I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are. I'll get your text, and Nation, I'm asking you guys, what surprised you most about this? Did you guys think that AI could read analog clocks or could read clock? Because I did. I'll be honest with you. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I could read a clock. And I was quite surprised by this, which is why I'm sharing this conversation with all of you guys. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going here on the show here. We had that one there too. I think at this point, I've got to everything. So I think what we're going to do is get to our community corner, creator spotlight. So we do got a couple other topics here, which is, we're going to leave this one for the boys. Jimmy, we got, listen, guys, there are more men than ever going under the needle. Yeah, and not for what you think. They're going under the needle for penile fillers. Yep, making the junk bigger. We're going to get to that one with Jon and Marty, I think tomorrow or later this week. We're going to have some fun with that one. And I also have a discussion here on inside her mind. Did a little bit of research, secret fantasies that women rarely share. So I want to bring that one up with the boys as well. We'll get to those ones later this week or into next. But the guys that are out there getting their penile injections, that is a thing. It's absolutely a thing. So we want to get to that later on in some conversation when the boys are around. Okay, so Jimmy, here's what we're going to do. We are going to get to our community corner, creator spotlight. It's that time in the show here for us to do that anyways. So here's the familiar sounds. Yep. Jimmy, I'm on the Substack right now. We're going to go Substack first this morning. Yep, there we go. All right. So those of you tuning in on X, I'm thanking you guys for hanging out with us. We stream after I burp. Yeah, is that, Jimmy, I wonder if that's a good way to end a conversation with somebody. Earlier on in the show, we talked about how to exit conversations respectfully, conveniently, with love, and so forth. Big learning here. We often get into conversations, then we don't know how to exit them. We talked about that earlier on in the show. But hey, to those of you tuning in on X right now, I see a bunch of you guys on X right now. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We have this morning show called Mornings in Line with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We go live Monday to Friday. Topics that help you be accountable to yourself, help you get out of bed, help you not hit the snooze button, help you move in a direction of positivity. That's what we do here every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm your host, I'm Keith Bilous. Jon Andersen joins me. CMartyFit joins me. And then we got a bunch of friends that join us along the way as well. But listen, have you ever wondered what lifting weights and brewing beer have in common? Spoiler. It's not just the sweat. And I'm not talking about the sweat in the beer. No, baby. Neglecting fitness or nutrition leaves us sluggish, frustrated, and stuck, struggling with that low energy, the poor health, and unfortunately, guys, lost confidence. But tackling these things without guidance can just feel overwhelming, like brewing your first batch of beer without instructions or stepping into a gym without a plan. I've been there. Yep, just going to show up and do some work. What happens? You get disappointing results. But imagine having an expert. Imagine having an expert guide who blends the discipline of fitness training with the craft of brewing beer. Hey, beer's got carbs, man. Transforming your lifestyle into something healthier, stronger, and definitely more enjoyable, whether you're interested in brewing or frankly not. Today, with 20 years as an ACSM certified personal trainer, mastery in resistance and HIIT training, and a flair for crafting his own carbohydrates, beer, that rivals local breweries, this creator doesn't just talk fitness. The guy lives it along with his beer. So good morning, Jimmy. This morning, we are going to welcome this fellow to our creator spotlight, the community corner. It is, Jimmy, Daniel Teisinger. What's shaking, Daniel? What's shaking, Daniel? All right, so Daniel's a personal trainer who's passionate home brewer and the mind behind the vibrant Substack newsletter, Brewing with Barbells. Get this, guys, brewing beer, lifting weights, getting after it. So I invite you to follow Daniel to master the perfect balance of fitness, nutrition, and brewing, or simply dive deeper into fitness alone. You're going to gain practical insights, a supportive community, and maybe even your next favorite hobby, whether it's brewing beer or lifting barbells. So I invite you to do this, guys. Subscribe to the Brewing with Barbells newsletter, because life, well, frankly, is just too short not to be strong. Life's too short not to be healthy, and life's too short not to be savoring every single moment. So Daniel, here's how it works, my brother. We want to have you on this show because we suspect there's somebody in your community, in your orbit, in your world that you think is doing great work and deserves a shout out. So love to have you on the show. We'd love to give you the Mornington Live Creator Spotlight light to shine it on somebody else so we can pay this experience forward. Okay. All right. There's my sound effect. It's my transition sound effect. Next one, Jim. One of my favorite segments in the show, the community corner, celebrating the humans, the great humans on the social platforms we hang out with. You ever had AI give you dangerously confident answer that's dead wrong? Like, oh yeah, this is right. This is damn right, man. This is absolutely right. And then imagine that mistake happening not in a chat, but during surgery, a financial audit, or in court. High stakes, right? Like you're like, oh my God, I can't even imagine. I'm just thinking the AI is right, but it's not. Well, listen, ignoring AI safety today means risking your health, your money, and even potentially your rights tomorrow. And this isn't theoretical, because guys, it's already happening. Trusting unverified AI could cost lives. It could ruin careers. And guys, it could shatter businesses. But what if someone was out there right now, making sure those mistakes never happen again? There's one founder, and he is not just imagining it. This guy's making it real. He calls it the immune system for AI. And his tech is already preventing over 100,000 medical errors worldwide. Yeah, you heard me. 100,000. From launching his first company at 14. Yeah, what were you doing at 14? Selling 2 businesses and now scaling a global enterprise. This guy's not playing around. He's reshaping AI governance for the world's biggest companies and underserved communities alike. The guy was born in Kenya, love Kenya. He's built his latest powerhouse out of Nairobi, proving innovation doesn't care about borders. He's not just building tech, the guy's building trust. Ladies and gentlemen, men, I invite you to meet the extraordinary visionary CEO behind LO AI. Jimmy, we are going to celebrate today Owen Sakawa. What is shaking Owen? The CEO behind LO AI. With tools like Truth Checker detecting early stage cancer in remote regions, Jimmy, this guy's a powerhouse, man. He's turning trust into life-saving reality. And now Owen, he's on track to build Africa's first AI unicorn. Yeah, baby, redefining what is possible. Let's give the guy the rim shot for that one. Owen Sakawa. If you care about protecting your future from AI-driven disasters, you got to follow Owen. Owen's the guy. Out there in Nairobi, building a unicorn with one purpose, detecting early stage cancer in remote regions. That is a mission that I can get behind, and I know many of you can get behind. So Owen, here's how it works, my brother. Yeah, there you go. We want to have you on the show, Owen. Official invite. Join us from Nairobi, or wherever you're hanging your hat. Join us from Nairobi. We would love to meet you, and we would love for you to celebrate people in your world that you believe is moving the needle on an upcoming Creator Spotlight Community Corner segment here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. So Owen Sakawa, I appreciate you, appreciate the work that you're doing. You know what? I'll tell you this, man. You're doing the important work. I'm just fucking talking. I appreciate you. I respect you. And I got a love for the mission and purpose you get out of bed for. Come hang out with us, pal. Come hang out with us, make some content. And let's do what we can to get your message out there with how you are on track to build Africa's first AI unicorn. Jimmy, that's fucking awesome. Owen, we're celebrating you, man. Woo. Okay. Here's where I pause. Yep. Here's where I pause, look at the camera, and talk to the microphone. Oh, yeah, what do we do next? I'll tell you what we're doing next. We're going to work towards wrapping up the show here, guys. Look at my notes here. Let's go through it. Okay, we kicked off the show here this morning. We talked about, first of all, we talked about Johnny's on his road trip through rural California. We got Fontana phoning right now. Fontana didn't get the memo that I'm still in conversation right now. Fontana, so clearly Fontana is not listening to the show when he leaves. No. Clearly Fontana does not listen to the show when he leaves because I'm still on the show and he's calling me right now and he has no idea that I've just accepted it. So Joe, we'll talk after the show is over because the guy leaves the show and doesn't even fucking listen, but he's calling me right now and he has no idea because I got him on the camera right now. So Fontana, you turn the show on, I'll take your call, brother. All right, Joe, you call me back later, pal. We'll talk to you in a few. But guys, listen, we talked this morning. We talked about the perfect time to drink a coffee. We talked about why AI can't tell time. We got into some great advice from Bezos today. We talked about why you gotta control your inputs. Why you want to focus on controlling your inputs instead of the outputs, because you can't control the output. You focus on controlling the inputs, you're going to get some great outputs. And we also talked about Bezos encouraging us to keep resisting normal, keep resisting typical. Society is going to move you in a direction of embracing normal and embracing being typical. Bezos encouraged his staff at Amazon during his last chairman's letter to encourage embracing being unique, embracing not typical, because that is what the world needs, uniqueness, because more of the world is homogenous. So we talked about that this morning as well. We talked about, with AJ, we talked about how to get out of a conversation, that sinking feeling that I'm in a conversation, I'm talking to someone, but how do I get out of it? How do I gracefully exit a conversation without being awkward? We had that conversation with AJ this morning as well. And we then got into we talked about apps, guys. If you want to start a business with apps, not a good decision. And then we also talked about the history of human language, a conversation that has been 135,000 years in the making. And that was the show today, guys. That's how it all came together this morning on the Thursday edition, the Thursday loop edition of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. That's where we get after it today. That's where we get after it today. It's where we get after it today. All right, so I'm going to do this here. Yep, I'm going to turn some music on here. Listen, on behalf of me, I'm your host, Keith Bilous. Going to my boys' last hockey game tonight. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day, Adam Holroyd. It's either going to be a day of we're getting after it again, or it's going to be a day of reflection. And I don't know, man. I got a lot of mixed emotions in my body today. I got anxiety, I got excitement, I got just a bunch of things I'm feeling today. So I invite you guys to come back tomorrow to hear all about it, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, John, Marty will be here tomorrow. And Jory is away tomorrow, so the three of us are going to get after tomorrow. Our topic tomorrow, guys, is, I'm going to quickly look here. I think it's about 4 daily habits. 4 daily habits for peak mental and physical performance. So if you're stuck, if you're laying around, going, I can't get going, tomorrow we get some advice on how to get some habits for peak mental and physical performance. That's the conversation tomorrow. Adam, I appreciate you, man. Planning for the win. You're right. As I told Carter, wins don't happen by accident. You got to make them happen. So just like we make this show happen every single day. Listen, I appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get back to it tomorrow. LinkedIn, YouTube, X, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm your host. I'm Keith Bilous. I'm getting out of here. Walking down the stairs. Jimmy, let's go.